Okay, now we just make sure it's not going. Okay. You're definitely muted on here in your Zoom.
So I have to go up here. Those. My video's off.
Yeah, that looks right.
Unmute.
It is okay.
Okay, and
So then now it's just a matter of doing the restream, turning everything on, and then looking at YouTube.
yeah.
Because it looks like you have everything set up. You're like, you're almost there. It's just, the weird
I know, like,
URL.
why did, when I copied it 3 times?
Silly thing, I don't know.
I don't know. It's okay. I'm getting used to the humility.
Yeah. And, you took a little break too, so it's good. That's the part that I missed. I was like, fine.
Well, that's the first thing I wrote down because I didn't know when, they never told me which one, so when he finally told me, I wrote that. So really, I just have to turn on the restream button, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'll switch all the goodies on.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to. Maybe just one button.
Sometimes at the top, but sometimes,
I don't know, it looks different every time to me.
let's see, I wonder what it shows on mine.
So,
All these are off. Look at that, toggle all off on, do you see?
this is what mine has.
Yeah, I have that same printout. That's why.
Is it start webinar? Can I do that? It says you're in a practice session, start webinar.
Oh, so that's probably what takes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, interesting. So when you're ready, you probably, hoping,
Yeah, should I not turn on the practice?
never used practice before. It's kind of good though, because it shows you, you get everything set up.
That's what I thought. But again,
Yeah.
it's always a little confusing.
Yeah, and this, of course, it doesn't say anything about practice in this.
Oh, there's just a lot of little things I've learned. If it's not here, look for it over there.
Nice.
This is what it's like if I'm 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, you get to see us in panic mode usually.
Oh, new chairs, huh?
Oh, my. Yeah, I came in and it was all disheveled, so I was trying to get it together. Here, people can't see whoever sits here.
I don't know.
So, is it still not showing that button?
We might not have a quorum today.
So, I mean, when you're ready, my suggestion is to on this.
Oh, and Ring Central, is that up?
Do I?
Oh, we got new chairs.
Yeah.
That.
So with 5 people, that's not a quorum, correct?
Correct. Have members? No, 9 members, right?
Oh my gosh, I thought, there's possibly 11 and we have 10.
11 spaces for sure, so we have 10.
Yeah, we have 10, so 5 is not a quorum. So I suggest announcements, and we can't technically vote on anything.
Right.
Including though, the sustainability plan. So we can at least go to live stream.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ellen we won't be able to do the
The
recommendation.
recommendation, yep. When are
But
they
it sounds like,
planning to vote on it anyway?
I don't know, but I got the impression from Jean that it was gonna happen anyway.
So it's happening like today? Or wait, this is,
Probably whenever the next city commission meeting is.
oh no, this is our thing, okay.
Yeah.
Members meetings and join the meeting?
Yeah, so I don't know if we wanna tell Alan when he's here that we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Things came up, I didn't know about Emily, but,
Recommend, and we can't, yeah, she emailed just me, so I figured maybe we should
Okay.
touch base because
yeah, Rob
maybe people
emailed
only
just
touch-
me, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. All right, well, short meeting, I guess. Easy one to chair.
Yeah, I know, what a first
Yeah.
one to do.
Dude, how you doing?
Great.
Good to hear. I regret to inform you, we don't have quorum today. We had, 5, people let us know that they won't be able to make it, so
So this was a very short.
it will be very short.
Pretty short, yeah. Might go on the record.
Yeah, that's okay. It is what it is. So we'll probably, just talk briefly, hear out from our, friends in the sustainability team, and that'll,
But we can't vote on anything.
No, we
right?
cannot.
We can't even approve the agenda,
Yeah.
actually.
Yep,
Which
so
is
we'll have to
kinda
move
silly.
that to next
Yeah,
time, and because we can't do any of the email voting.
right,
So
yeah,
we can't even like by email try to
exactly.
get anything through.
No. This
No,
only happened.
no one can dial in, like.
This happened twice? It
Yeah,
happened
once or
right
twice.
in the beginning of when we came back from being remote.
Oh, that's okay, yeah.
At least that January, if not January, February.
That sounds
And I
right.
think one of the times we tried and came in person and there wasn't enough.
Right.
The one time we were told ahead of time,
Mm.
not even to show up, because we didn't have enough, so.
Yeah, once they, rescinded the state's emergency order for COVID,
Hello,
then
hello.
we can't
Quiet
do anything.
everybody.
Exactly, yeah. Hello.
So I was thinking that can count as announcements,
Yeah, sure, that works.
and that's why I was like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hello, are you Alan by chance?
I'm Alan by chance.
Hi, Alan, I'm Ian.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is
No, Sharon, we've worked
I have-
on this day a bunch of times.
I have it on my, list today, actually, to email you about the bins again, to see if I
Okay,
can
yes,
come grab
we
those.
have them in the garage.
Cool.
Whenever you want them, they're
Yeah,
yours.
I don't have a garage, but I guess I'll keep them in my basement until then.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to picture how they'll fit with the 3 different event spots this year.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you're gonna put them to use. I don't know exactly why she bought these plastic bins, but whatever, that's what she did.
It was
So,
like, oh, it's an investment for all the future ones, and then the next 2 were removed.
Yeah, we hit the COVID, and we were so set to go, remember? We were gonna be over there on the,
Mhm.
before it was remodeled, the whole, farmer's market.
Yep. Yep, we had done.
So the last time I saw anybody before that, COVID was eating for that, you know?
Mhm.
This is Lexi, I don't know if you met Lexi yet.
I don't know. Hello.
Hi, Lexi.
Hello, Lexi.
How you doing? Good to hear.
And what's your name?
Jerry?
Hi, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I live in, Millwood neighborhood.
Okay,
Excellent.
cool.
Hey, Nolan.
So we likely, I mean, as long as everyone was truthful with their absences, will not have quorum today, but we plan to still do announcements. However, that also means we can't vote on anything. So
Okay,
happy for you to present, but unfortunately, we can't technically do any recommendations.
well, let's follow the rules.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could say in the announcements, we'll ideally have the live streams all up and going.
I have confidence.
So.
Well, at least Lexi might be pleased that she'll get out of here sooner, so. Fair enough.
She brought 100 novel books though, that, she's in the Global Reading Challenge. Remember the Global
You can
Reading
sit here,
Challenge?
there's enough room today.
Great challenge for readers.
Not fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade. I'm
Fourth
not
and fifth?
fifth grade yet.
Okay,
All
fourth
right.
and fifth grade.
What's one of the books you're reading right now?
Book I'm reading right this second, I don't have it right now, it's
Mhm.
called, I Can Make This Promise. Then the books I got was reading, Finding Freedom and,
Nice, those are pretty thick books for a fourth grader. You must be quite a reader.
my, best friend, a lot of the popular.
Nice, nice. That's a lot of reading to do. All right. Cool. All right.
Sitting here.
Hi, Jamie.
This is where I should sit.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
So, Jamie Nolan, I'm sorry to report, we don't have quorum today. So.
We still want you to present, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
we can still do that, but we just can't vote on anything,
You don't
so,
have to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a major.
We're
Yeah.
happy to hear what's up, and,
Mm-hmm, it'll be recorded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Folks who-
exactly. Cool. All right.
Yep.
And Sharon's in charge today.
Yeah, we got 3 more minutes. At least, hopefully we get at least the other 2 people that did not
Yeah.
mention they weren't gonna be
I
here,
didn't know.
so.
I'm
We
gonna-
haven't heard from, Gail or Joe
I can't
directly,
download it on my
Right, same.
computer.
usually no news.
And then
Good
you
news.
turn it off
Yeah.
here.
I'm gonna run the facilities real quick. though.
Alrighty.
You know, if you wanted to sit in one of those chairs, that would be good. You're a person.
I didn't know.
I'm an animal. I'm both.
Well, you're a person and an animal. That's a good analysis.
I'm a monkey.
Yeah, sorry.
Monkey?
Monkey.
Well, you're a primate.
Honestly, but still, oh, but.
That's all.
Is there a way to make these chairs tall? Look at it, there's a handle on it. Found it.
I need mine to be tall because I'm short.
Yes. You wanna make it taller still?
No?
You can make it even taller, watch. Shut up. There. How does it feel? Feel better?
I'm not open 2 of them. If we're running short on time, I can.
I'm tall, so I should have my chair down, but it feels strange to me to be. There you are.
Leave it low.
Sharon, how long have you served on this committee now?
I think I am in my 5th of 6 years, the 2 3-year terms.
I think I remember when you were getting on.
Probably, yeah. Been a minute now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What a great service you guys are performing.
I didn't make it low.
Well, if you get off, take the weight off.
I know it's a
Because
little
it goes up,
different.
but you know what? It's just
I just
nice.
need them big enough to be able to see. I don't need any, like,
Is this the one right here?
it's,
Pressing down, pushing down.
both of those 2 got them one. One might already be open.
Sit on it and pick it up.
Just have to have a high chair.
No,
Default
no,
to the
I felt
grouping.
something.
Maybe if I sat on your lap, I could get
What
put
I
it
can
down.
do is move
How would that be?
over.
Where's to go? Go.
Going down.
And then
Just make it smaller.
When I
whatever
find
size you want.
it off, I'll go up again.
But there, I'll push it down.
think you
You
can
roll
type
this
in
way,
an
I'll push it
example.
down, you can push the button where you want it.
And
One of my coworkers had just heard about the procedure around
Is that
it
better?
yesterday.
Okay.
But-
I'm gonna
oh,
open another one.
just yesterday?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Second one.
Doesn't surprise me, it's like, I mean, I'm on the Times and Guardian main page, like, every day, and it's like, if it's there at all, it's in the bottom corner.
Thunder, top thunder, transparency list. That's quite telling.
I see.
That's why may not have gotten out there as much.
Sure. What is
I'm
that?
trying to remember to refer to it as this specifically instead of this, because that's the town they're in. So-
I see, sure, yeah. Yeah, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good call.
And it's Utah themed from what I can tell.
that,
Yes, Ohio's weird. They also have it's spelled like Medina, like in Saudi Arabia, but they call it Medina.
Oh, yeah.
I learned that
Oh,
from
yeah,
a
there's
friend,
lots
so
of great
a lot
ones.
of ones, yeah.
Yeah, John
Start
says
again.
Memphis,
Kalida.
Kalida.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm
Really
for.
small.
I'm gonna go.
You're wearing an
Oh,
MSU shirt today.
I am, yeah.
Solidarity with
I'm
the,
sharing here.
Yes, I'm a MSU and Bronco, partner in Bronco, and unfortunately, actually, I even have a pen for it. The shooter started in the building that I had most of my classes in. So
really,
fortunately, I mean, it's all chance, obviously, but fortunately, everybody I know didn't have classes that day, so I guess that's a very thin silver lining.
How are you?
I asked my class
Great,
at
how
school
about you?
today, and
Okay.
I hear you're
Class of
speaking for
20-some
Green
students.
Drinks on the 28th?
every single
Yeah,
student but one had.
I don't know
finished it.
where.
Yeah, I think that's not determined. I was asking today, because I was like, hey,
That's
can
it,
we
I mean,
get
I
a?
went to the, thing at the Barnard Center today at 11, like.
Yeah.
Started talking
Oh, you went
about
to-
it, and it's
Yeah,
like
I
so
work
much
at
to try to
Western, and,
remember to
the,
follow
there was a lot of
later
students.
I
with
hope,
all
I
of
mean,
the
I
Wondered.
hope it's at the
We're there.
theater.
Yeah,
That's
They
yeah.
had a
Yeah.
really cool class
Yeah,
that
that
happened.
was
I think
the
so.
plan.
You know,
so.
because,
I showed the students
I
my
mean,
class
I've,
that hour, and I
you
said,
know,
wow, there's not a lot of people here.
attended a lot of
Some
them,
them
tried
are
to
at that event.
present,
Mhm,
you know,
that
when we
makes
would
sense,
have
sure.
it, it's,
Yeah, it was quick, it was over in
Somewhere,
half an hour, I
like-
think, or less, but
Yeah,
it was
it's
you,
pretty nice.
you can't
Nice little moment,
hear
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything, you know, you just, it's like,
that's really pretty,
it's
like.
like you're.
It's hard with no budget,
You do
but.
Yeah,
I work
I
at the
mean,
Nick
granted,
Institute,
yeah, it is
so
hard with
I
no
do,
budget. Yeah, they,
I'm lucky I enjoy the work.
The gal saying.
Not
Well,
everybody
you're doing
gets
really
that.
valuable work.
Thank you, I
And,
appreciate that, yeah.
You know, asked me if I
It's
would,
wonderful.
and I'd like,
Mhm.
I'd love to.
Graduate
Is it
student
Ally-
program
Ally-
from,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ally, somebody or.
Square.
I'd love to
Yeah.
meet people.
We'd like to continue with a few announcements and, things that can go on the record for people to look at later, even though we can't vote on anything. So we're live on both Facebook and YouTube.
1 second. We should be live, yes, I'm just getting
I'm
up
gonna-
the agenda.
Not seeing it yet on Facebook.
Where did the agenda go?
Does the dashboard show live streaming? Perfect, on YouTube.
Somebody could make a killing if they made it just one button. Oh, business opportunity.
Right, well, yeah, kind of weird today. So I guess I'll just go while we're getting that set up. Is there any announcements individual from anyone, that is here visiting today? Community members as well?
Anyways, I'm Jared Walensky. I live in, Millwood neighborhood. And, they've been clearing, trimming the trees around the utilities. They've been doing a horrible job. I mean, not following the basic practices of pruning. I stopped and talked to one of them there, one of the first persons. I said, you need to trim this branch right here so it will heal over. And the comment I got, well, this is our business. So, and they really are, they're killing the trees, basically. I mean, it's not gonna happen next year, but quicker than, would need to be. Even the newer trees that we've replaced, like in the last 10 years or so, they're even butchering them. So, I used to sit on the tree committee, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So I'm a little passionate about the trees, and I know how they need to be maintained and, not being maintained.
Do you know, if what they're doing seems like regular maintenance, or was it possibly like an emergency that they thought that they needed to just go into it?
They're going down the line and, you know, like trimming around Spectrum's cable, and they're doing the power lines.
Do you know who is
Right.
doing the trimming? Is it the
There's
city?
several different companies. I don't know if I have one of them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let me write it down. I have it at home, I don't have it here.
But it was contractors, not city employees, you're pretty
Right.
sure? Yeah, okay.
It was contractors, not like city employees that you saw doing this?
They're not city employees, they're, you know, so-and-so's tree service
Mhm.
and landscaping. You know, on a tree, you're supposed to cut it, so there's a bump right next to the main branch on the tree where you cut it in that zone so it can heal over.
Right.
I mean, they're leaving stumps like this long, and they're never gonna heal over. And, you know, in the past few years, it's been, you know, getting worse and worse, and I just really noticed it today. A branch about that thick, sticking out maybe 10 feet, cut off, no branches on it, it's just, I mean, I have some pictures, but something is slipping through.
Okay. Would love, more information if you could email that, if you said you had pictures and such. It would be awesome if you could email us, the more info that you have. You said you had, the companies written down and like pictures of what's happening. That would be
Yeah, okay,
nice.
just as long as I have that contact.
Okay,
I got it.
yeah, okay. Anyone else?
I'll get you our emails, so you can email me.
It's kind of weird right now today because we don't have a quorum, so we can't do any official recommendations. So we're kind of just going with, announcements or comments, so.
I just had a question.
Okay.
For now, I don't know if anyone here has, kept up with the news recently. If you are, I'm probably getting worse sleep than you. Anyway, if we're all not aware, in Ohio, there was that train car derailment. I just have two little questions. One, are we testing our air quality even semi-regularly?
Great question.
Good question.
Did you want to ask your other questions too?
Well, the other one is less of a question since I already have a hunch, I already know the answer. I looked up the, rail paths for Norfolk Southern, the irresponsible company that caused this. They do have one that runs right through Kalamazoo. Obviously, this is a small local body that doesn't have too much power, but still, I want to know if we are testing air quality at all. Luckily, they're 293 miles away. I highly doubt it would affect us, but weather patterns can be freaky sometimes. Do we have, any emergency plans for something like this would happen? Because these bomb trains could be running through here for all we know. Filled with these bad chemicals.
So, we do have, emergency phone numbers that people can call and report, and there have been local issues where that's been used even recently. And you can call and say, hey, I'm smelling this, and then there are people from Eagle that will come out. It's Eagle that does that, right? Monica, whatever. That's where she's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That come out and will assess it, and they have, they have created, violations based off of that information and such, but those.
Thinking about testing our air quality a little bit more, because if you believe them, yes, you're getting better sleep than I.
So, yeah, as far as announcements go, that was on my list to mention the Norfolk Southern train derailment, because it does not seem like it's talked about enough. And that was just earlier this month.
Yeah.
Anything else?
If I can say real quick, so, in addition to the train situation, we have this kind of long-running thing with Graphic Packaging International / the city water reclamation plant on the north side, and so air testing has been a big part of that. So, I know it sounds like you're doing some reading already. If you'd like to add some reading and then get more involved, I would recommend just Googling, graphic packaging, EGLE for Eagle, and you'll get a lot of reporting from MLive covering that. And then you can learn more about how you can report smells if you see them in those. But long story short, we're very limited with our tools at this board. It's probably not a surprise to you, but, yeah, we appreciate you coming in.
They do have some tested air quality, up there too from,
Yes.
from what's going on. So you can see some data that way.
Absolutely.
The odor task force.
Yes.
Well, we don't test air in general. No, odor task force doesn't test air, they figure out
That's for,
the odors.
Mhm.
Monitors that have been put up with all been in connection.
Yeah, to your point, it's not like, it's mostly in response to something. It's reactive on a lot of things, unfortunately. Yeah. We have a vacancy on the ECC if you live in the city.
Mhm.
Jerry as well, yeah, so.
Yep.
But, thank you.
All right, is the working group on the program, or should I do the announcement?
Yeah, so you can make your announcement as well.
Sure, great. Well, it's really nice to be here, and I so appreciate the work that you guys do all the time. I've heard about this committee for a long time, and it's the first time I've been in a meeting, so that's on me. I'm an English professor at Western, and I've been involved in environmental stuff for a long time. I also teach environmental studies, and Sharon and I worked together putting it on Earth Day several times in Bronson Park. And the last 10 years, I've been a member of the Climate Change Working Group at the university, and I'm here really to make an announcement from that group. It's a group that has, I'm on the executive committee, which is about 10 people on it, professors in a variety of different departments, including the sciences and the social sciences. I think I'm the only humanities professor that's not on the executive committee, but it's also a much larger group that's done a lot of different things over the last 10 years in terms of research and education, and I could talk quite a bit about that group, but I'm not going to go on and on. Except to say that we are really eager to work together with the city and support whatever you guys are doing in any way that we can. We have brought a lot of speakers to campus, and we have a reading group that anybody here is welcome to join. I run that reading group, and we've often been able to read books and meet with the authors at the same time, which has been kind of neat. The next book we're reading actually is Falter by came out from McKibben a couple of years ago, but I chose that book partly because it's about climate change, also about artificial intelligence, which is a big topic right now. And also we've arranged for Bill McKibben to come to meet with us on campus virtually. We had him come personally a few years ago, but we'll be doing that on March 1st, and he'll be our kickoff event for the Climate Emergency Month. So the university is declaring March Climate Emergency Month. That's what I'm here for, is to tell you guys that that's happening. And during the Climate Emergency Month, there'll be all kinds of activities and events, educational and organizing and things like that. You can find out all about it on the website, which is climateemergencymonth.org. It's not really an org, but that will take you to a website, a webpage inside the Western Michigan University website. Mentioned that we're paying Bill McKibben $5,000 to come here and do virtual stuff with us, which is cool. And we're paying far less to Gaia Vince, who is flying in from Great Britain, and we're collaborating with a group in Grand Rapids to bring her to Kalamazoo, but she'll be coming in person. She's a woman who just published a book called Nomad Century: How Climate Migration Will Reshape Our World. It's a fabulous, important book about climate migrants. That right now, there are more refugees, migrants, and displaced people than there ever been in human history. Over 100 million, not counting Ukraine. The expectation is that by in 20-some years, there'll be as many as 1 billion migrants from climate change. Already, 30 to 40% of the migrants that are and displaced people now are from climate change, even at 1.3 degrees Celsius, or however much the Earth is currently warmed. So thinking about the climate migrant problem is really important, and she has a lot of information about what is happening and what needs to happen and how we're going to adapt to that, which is something Kalamazoo, of course, will play a role with, and is already playing a role with. We have many climate migrants in Kalamazoo, all the way back to Katrina and Houston, not to mention from Syria and Afghanistan and the Sudan, and Central America and southern Mexico, where drought is causing a lot of farmers land. So anyway, we're also going to have Rashida Tlaib, representative from the other side of the state, will be speaking about climate change on the campus. We're having Mitzi Stoltz. Do you guys know her? She is kind of the main person in Ann Arbor who's organized Ann Arbor's efforts to address climate change. Ann Arbor and Portland, Oregon are probably the two most advanced cities in the country in addressing climate change. They've raised a lot of money in Ann Arbor, for one thing. It'll be very interesting to find out her more about what they're doing. We're holding her event not on campus because we want to coordinate with the city, the community. So her event's going to be in the Van Dusen Room at the library on March 18th from 3 to 4 o'clock. Her title of her talk is Lessons Learned from 8 to 0, Ann Arbor's Climate and Equity Work. So I think that will be really interesting, and maybe people in this committee might even be curious about it. That's why we try to put it at a time that would work for people. My primary purpose is to, suggest that the Climate Change Working Group at the university, which we also founded a community organization here called the Kalamazoo Climate Crisis Coalition, which is 20 different organizations that meet every Friday and are working on a whole range of different climate issues in the community. We're really want to be supportive of you guys and communicate. We've got this Climate Emergency Month coming up. We've been involved in advocating for the hiring of the Sustainability Coordinator, which we know is understands to be happening at the city, which we're really excited about that. We hope we can support that person. One member of our executive committee helped form the Climate Action Plan for the city of Kalamazoo. Paul Clements was quite involved with that. The measurables target in the city sustainability plan is, I think it's 52% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2030. So I think it's important that plan match with the Michigan's plan, which is being revised. Anyway, those are the main things I came to mention, and power to you guys. I'm really glad to hear all the work you're doing, and this gentleman who's worrying about the trees and the rails, the spill, and this is important stuff, Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stacked guest list. Great.
Excuse me?
Stacked guest list. That's great. Yeah, it's awesome.
What was his last name?
Yeah.
Alice?
Alan Webb, Allen Webb. I'm a professor at Western, and the website is climateemergencymonth.org.
And we had written down kalamazoocrisis.org/climate emergency month. Is that?
That will get you there too.
Okay.
But all you need is climateemergencymonth.org.
Okay.
Because it's the climate crisis, that's the Kalamazoo Climate Crisis Coalition website.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's all linked together.
Okay.
And we had corresponded, we're gonna do a proclamation. March 6th.
That is really great. We would love to have that proclamation, and what we're gonna do is, if it's okay, I was gonna bring a bunch of students down.
Are you working with Sue Burtman, and she's getting the language, and we'll have a conversation. However many people you can have.
Yeah, sure.
Give public comment, and be here supporting the climate emergency month, and whatever materials you want to bring so that people know about all this.
Be honored to do that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve is the chair of the working group and wasn't able to come tonight, so he tapped me and I tapped her.
Yeah, we talked about it last month and have a draft, recommendation written up, although we won't be able to vote on it tonight because we don't have an agenda. So we were moving in that direction also.
Right on, you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, on that note, I can just quickly say, so it's great, already working with Commissioner Hess and in a sense, I guess we're kind of a formality just to kind of add another name to the thing, but, beyond passing the resolution, we were just hoping to recommend the city, take advantage of its social media channels and all of its public information campaign to do, work for that, but seeing as we can't make anything official, it's just a verbal request. Yeah, exactly. So,
Kind
yeah.
of suggesting it.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Make a suggestion.
What, it's suggestions below a recommendation, I guess, yeah, so, yeah, thanks for coming down.
Well,
Fantastic.
right on, you guys.
keep up the good work.
you.
Thank you.
Want me to announce green drinks? Or you wanna?
Is there any
idea.
other announcements from,
Do you wanna check your callers?
I was thinking we could do that at the end. Do we do that in the beginning and end usually?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
I think we were gonna start doing that in the beginning. and the
Okay,
end,
yeah,
sure.
if you wanna see if there's anyone now, and
Yeah.
we'll do that again at the end.
Yep.
After that, we'll do any more announcements, and then we have, the city here to come talk about the community sustainability plan update.
I do have a
That's basically
question
all we
on
can do
the,
today.
on the bylaws.
Mhm.
I know we can't vote on them, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
We were gonna go over that too, so
Okay.
we'll definitely do that next month. Okay. So any other announcements from anyone here? Did you wanna,
Well, green drinks is the,
oh, sorry.
it's sometime, I thought,
February
the 28th, Tuesday the 28th, at some mysterious
area. They present a different environmental topic each month. So this month is the Urban Bird Treaty, and then it's kind of a social gathering with food and drinks, to discuss those things. So that's that one. I have a quick announcement too. I mean, Kalamazoo Earth Day is coming up, so it's
Mhm.
on actual Earth Day this year. We have a couple months yet, but April 22nd, it is in 3 different neighborhood locations, and there's also a podcast that just came out,
Nice.
about it from Public Media Network, so.
Seeking volunteers, if I'm not mistaken.
Kind of always,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, all right, cool.
Any other announcements from anyone before we get started with the city's presentation?
Guess I'll just mention it then after all. Graphic Packaging got cited for another violation, for $100,000, in December. But we can spend more time talking about that when we have a full committee next month. Putting it on the record. Okay, good idea.
As far as I know, we're still waiting for the MD.
I haven't
You
heard
want to
anything.
email, right?
I did, I gave it both of ours. Barry, can you get your contact info?
Am I doing everything correctly to be on the live stream and stuff? I'm sure. I can just. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. If I haven't met you before, my name is Jamie McCarthy, and I work for the City of Kalamazoo in community planning and economic development. And, part of my job has been working on a sustainability plan with our staff here at the city, and that was adopted last June. So we are, early into our implementation, and wanted to stop back here and give you guys kind of a look back at how implementation has started, things that have been going on at the city, and then really a look forward as well. But I think you're gonna see that most of the things on this list are, getting started, or they're well established at the city. And so I think for 23, many of these things are just going to continue and grow and continue to develop. I just wanted to mention that Mr. Nolan Bergstrom is here with me, coworker in the same department, and has also been really involved in this kind of stuff. I'll invite Nolan to jump in on any of the projects that he's been more involved in, if he wants to answer any questions or give you guys some updates. And then I just wanted to mention too that, you know, Jean, Tawanda, you're more experienced and involved in some of the stormwater stuff as well, so I know that there's probably been a ton that has happened in 22, and I know you're gonna have your plate full in 23, and I don't know if I have captured all of that here, so I wanted to just kind of lift that up. You guys have been just doing an incredible amount of work on understanding your assets, maintaining those, and really improving those over time. Really effective stormwater system here. Okay, so, I should do this.
Wow. Between the two of us, we should.
I can just scroll here. So I think I covered this. The plan is about 6, 8 months old. But I think a really big piece for our department, and I think at the city, is that, we have a new position that the city, supported in this last budget round. This is gonna be a sustainability planner who's gonna work in community planning and economic development, but they're really gonna be that coordinator and that support to make sure, we are doing some tracking and reporting, making sure that we have, you know, a whole communication line out to the public. We want to be able to do a lot more engagement. So, all throughout the city, we engage on streets projects and neighborhood plans, and we want to be able to have that sustainability presence and really start bringing our work down into neighborhoods. You know, any place in the city, every street in the city is part of a neighborhood, and those neighborhoods have goals, and so we're hoping to, especially into 23, and this position is going to help us with that. The position closed today, so it's really our hope that we will have this person hired and onboarded in March, middle of March, and so hopefully you'll be meeting this new individual very soon. So in 2022, Nolan and I were just finishing up the city's part of the Michigan Green Communities Challenge. That's through the Michigan Municipal League and partners. And we have been bronze for the last couple of years, and so with this most recent challenge, we're able to move up to the silver level, and so that's looking at all sorts of things, from water efficiency all the way to non-motorized. It's just a whole list of different kind of best practices in municipal planning and implementation, and we're happy to say we're you know, well into silver and have a goal of getting to gold here in the next couple of years. I also wanted to give an update on our greenhouse gas inventory. This is something that we started really, we've been working on it for a while. In 22, we made some progress. The same individual who was working on this for his master's degree, we met with him a couple of months ago and really had, I think, for the first time, kind of a breakthrough in some of the data that Consumers Energy has been able to share with us. And then also some help from ICLEI with a new technical advisor. So our hope is that in the next couple of months, we'll have that finished up, and we'll be able to share more about, you know, which sectors are emitting what type of emissions, but really then thinking about what future reductions. So I'm not going to read through all of these slides. You guys can see some different numbers and projects, but this really kind of gives a recap across the city on different projects that have happened in 22 and programs that have started and things that we see continuing into 23. But they're broken up kind of in the 4 categories of the Community Sustainability Plan. And so the first here is green circular economy. I think what the city, because of our role, because of the city's role in solid waste and recycling, you're going to see a lot of those kind of highlights here. But in addition, the city, through FFE, has been able to host now for 3 years a tire recycling event. Tires are hard to recycle. They're expensive to recycle. So for no cost to residents, they've been able to drop off tires. I think it's been, you know, over 3,600 tires, 3,800 tires that have been collected and recycled. Funding. You guys are extremely familiar with the foam recycling program that continues to go. Yep, it grew out of this committee, and so that continues to be offered quarterly. And then you can see we had a recycling audit that was done. I know this was a public services initiative and a grant-funded opportunity to really look at what folks are throwing in those bins, and then being able to give them some feedback on whether those are recyclable objects, if there's contamination. There was, you know, actual audits of individual carts, and gave us some information and data on, you know, on a block by block level, sort of how often are the carts being put out, what's in those cars, what are contamination issues. And then, Kalamazoo Roots is an ongoing, class done through KVCC. We have plans to expand that in 2023 into new neighborhoods. The North Side neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods, but we have just about 200 folks participating in, this course. It's really a cohort. It is a bit self-paced, and it's all about learning how to garden at home in containers. Okay, so we have a whole lot of road and transportation work that's always ongoing, and then I'm also going to touch a little bit on land use as it relates to a lot of the goals in the CSP, especially related to sustainable reuse of our land and trying to really encourage infill housing and density where we can. So at the top here, the city's had a very strong focus, and because of that additional funding from things like FFE, we've been able to put in and connect a lot more of our sidewalk network. It was something that through Imagine Kalamazoo, folks said it was really important where sidewalks are missing. This is not something that cities often have extra dollars laying around that they're just putting in new sidewalks. It happens when a private developer redevelops or a brand new neighborhood is put in, and so this has been just a really great opportunity at the city to be able to do that. We're also adding in bike lanes whenever possible, so we had new bike lanes added in 2022, and I know that's going to continue. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to our partners at Metro Transit. They've been really great in a lot of their sustainability initiatives. This year they completed what they call their COA here, and that really helps them understand their operations, understand their routes, understand where they might have service gaps, just really trying to increase ridership. And so I think we're going to see a lot of really positive things coming out of their COA. I just wanted to highlight here all of the different traffic calming activities that the city is really pursuing. We know that if streets feel safer for non-motorized, we're going to have more folks choosing not to maybe use a personal vehicle or choosing to walk or choosing to bike. And so that all kind of goes together. And so these are just really great things that the city's been doing to, make our road system, our road network more sustainable and safer for all types of users. There's been lots of activity.
I can just add real quick, on the one hand, nothing makes me lose faith in humanity more than seeing the comment sections when it comes to bike lanes. But I can say that I am one of many cyclists that really appreciate the effort the city's taking in this, and we look forward to, future projects, especially when they lead to protected bike lanes and those kinds of things. So, for what it's worth, there's positive feedback out there as well.
Thank you for that. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
that's a part of the internet.
Yes.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe to your point a little bit, I want to give Nolan a little bit of credit here for pulling out this graphic for us. When traffic can be slowed because you don't need a certain speed, and again, we have traffic engineers who can study, how do we have to get traffic through a certain area at a certain time? We also don't want a bunch of cars backed up idling and, putting out emissions. But when we can slow roads down, slow streets down, slow vehicles down, they can be a lot safer for folks. And so I thought this was an interesting graphic showing safety, kind of survivability based on speed. Okay, and then if you haven't traveled Westnedge, and if you haven't gotten frustrated with how backed up it was, there was a whole lot going on that street at one time this summer.
True.
I think it's, all the goals of the city kind of got piled onto this space, but we do have these testing out some different bike lane options where maybe we can't fit in a fully protected lane, but this one we, we're able to do something like that here, and really appreciate the special paint that was put on. Example of some of the different ideas we're trying.
What is fog ceiling?
Oh, and you want to talk a little bit about fog ceiling?
Yeah, it's basically it's just a technique for paving. They'll drive by with a truck and it will throw out a new sealant on the road, so it preserves the pavement. It gives it kind of a fresher look. Also better for when, because fog sealing like in a day. West Central Park in these sections, fog sealed, truck went by, they did it. 8 hours back through. That green, is actually not painted, bond, all the technical details of it, but it's more durable than paint. A little bit different. We haven't, first time we've used green like infrastructure. Probably see that more often. In fact, next couple of years to see more. Drawing more emphasis to the fact that that is.
Thank you.
Right, and I just wanted to touch a little bit on the infill housing that we're, really starting to fire up through a number of different things. You can see here, we're definitely building new units with a unique partnership that's bringing funding together to build these homes on vacant single-family lots. They used to have homes there. We've changed a bunch of our zoning codes to make sure that those homes are permitted to be built there, because we've tended to change the shape and size of our homes, and so we found that a whole lot of lots of the city weren't even buildable because of the way we changed our codes, and so we fixed those to make sure that those lots can be built on. The next issue we face in many of our core neighborhoods, many of our older neighborhoods, and especially with the increasing cost of construction, that it is far too more expensive to build a home than what you're going to get financed for to buy that home, and so it makes new construction basically impossible. And so there have been a whole bunch of partners that have come together. I think we're on track to build about 10 to 15 new homes each year scattered throughout many neighborhoods. And then we've also been working to get these what we're calling pre-permitted plans, and they're 1 to 4 units, and they're going to be coming together to offer up this package to builders or homeowners who want to have this set of plans that's already made for them. We'll pair it together with some of the permits and really also start to kind of look proactively at, where can these types of building configurations go throughout the city. Again, just trying to lower the barrier. Often, we as the city get in the way of making building easy because, we're very concerned with our codes and our safety and all those sorts of things. So just one idea that we've been moving forward with. I think we're really going to see this whole pre-permitted plans idea come to fruition in 23, but made a lot of progress in 22. And then the city's certainly been supporting all sorts of new multifamily rental units, knowing that countywide we need about 8,000 housing units that we're short today. And then with future demand, we know that's going to go up, and so we're just really focused a lot on housing here at the city. And again, that's one of those things I think we'll see increasing. Oops.
See that one?
That was the audit.
The picture of that one that you had on the, was one of the pre-permitted plans, right, that is on the corner of Rose and Wall Street?
Yeah, for single family. That's
If,
correct.
if you're ever at the corner of Rose and Wall Street, it's the recent new build, it's beautiful. Lower and upper unit, and then an ADU, accessory dwelling unit over the garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Live in any of them. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely are. And then there's a single-story unit that's now being built this year. I think a couple are under construction. So a little bit smaller, single level instead of a lot of these are two.
Excuse me, what plan does the city have to deal with the on-house? I do a lot of work with the on-house, and any of those plans right there, I don't see that doing any of these folks any good. And I know there's like 50 pods or something. Who owns them right now?
Housing resources?
Right?
Housing resources?
Yes, thank you. And I'm curious what the plan the city has to utilize them.
I don't have that covered in our slides today. It's not a topic I was here to talk about, but happy to, pair you up with or get you in touch with somebody. Again, I think it's a lot of the private housing organizations and nonprofits who are really trying to help with that.
Yeah, but what do we figure is 170, I don't really know the exact numbers of folks that are unhoused. And, you know, the private can't manage all of that, you know, unless there's some special funding, you know, coming. I don't know about. And I really, you know, just haven't really heard anything from the city saying, oh, we got this, this is what we're gonna do. This is in our 1-year plan, this is in our 5-year plan, this is in our 10-year plan. Haven't seen that written, I think, anyway. If somebody could, like, show me where that is,
I guess I kind of had a question similarly, I don't know if you went, down or not, it said the certain amount of affordable units. I assume we don't have, like, written into what counts as affordable, because that's what I was thinking of. A lot of times, it's like 80% AMI, and that's not really showing the actual demand when there's a lot of people that are way below that. So, I don't know if you have answers for that.
I think that's another big topic
Yeah.
to talk about and didn't have plans to cover today, but
Sure.
we can certainly connect on it. The city will use the state numbers to calculate what area median income is, and that based on your income, 3% of your income each month would be spent on. I think we explore anything from 30%. 20 is considered workforce.
I have one housing policy question that maybe you might know something about. I can't remember, if it was in the sustainability plan or how it was addressed, but I was wondering, you know, thinking about the streamlining for development that you were talking about earlier, I keep coming back to, like, historical, preservation policies and how we're gonna retrofit a bunch of houses that need, like, you know, like sealed windows and all that good stuff. And I wondered, are you aware of any plans to work with, like, the historic commission, or, this is just a general question?
Yeah, we had, and I'll cover it in a minute here, maybe this next slide.
Cool.
I'm gonna skip to the second one here. Really
Sure.
affordable housing, we had some dollars from FFE to pilot some energy audits, and some home, weatherization type activities.
Mm-hmm.
We're funding in this last year, we've funded 5 homes, to get those improvements. We found it, the way we had it set up, it's just not gonna launch itself into volume, and we're concerned about what that volume is. And so, I think in 23, we'd like to focus on bringing together all of the different partners who have those types of programs. We have county, we have NHS at the local city level, we have, homework, like there are lots of groups that are working in this area, but they've all kind of expressed that they feel like they work a bit separately, and that being able to convene and come together and come up with a way to even have a homeowner navigate, right? Like, there's 5 different programs, who do I call, who offers what? Like, that just there would probably help get more homes efficiently through the system.
Sure.
So I think it's a great point, and it is a big, it's a big problem. It's a big opportunity to tackle, right? Because there's some really inefficient homes. And it's just because of the stage of our housing stock, almost all of Kalamazoo's housing stock was built before there was ever an energy code. So we're still working on it, and it's just been challenging.
Sure.
We do have, I'm hoping to find out about some dollars that would help us get a little bit of help on how we convene and come up with them. Also, I know through a collaboration with our Public Services Department and Consumers Energy, we offered a lot of water audits along with some energy audits that Consumers Energy does, but just to really look at if folks had, you know, leaking appliance, a leaking toilet that can surprisingly add a whole lot to your water bill. And so we were offering those this last couple of years, but another great opportunity for residents, and, you know, saving water and energy is a positive thing and reduces people's bills. Kind of paired up with that for the commercial side, the city has been a partner with Consumers Energy and some others in launching what we're calling the Energy Collaborative. But this is for commercial buildings, and it's really helping give them some very easy tools online to benchmark their buildings. So they know exactly what their energy use is, they know what it is on a per square foot basis, they can compare it to other buildings similar to that, and then they're committing to continuing to track and monitor their energy use, and then they get access to consumers' energy programs that will help them reduce their overall energy. In 2023, in 2022, we set a goal of working with 35 buildings, and we did get all 35 buildings signed up. The city did 4 of our our main buildings and benchmarked those, but it's a really great tool. And now the Energy Collaborative is going to be extended to all commercial buildings in the county. So it's been a really cool way for us. That was a first of its time pilot that consumers did and provided all of the technical resources. We work with a really great not-for-profit out of Minnesota who's done a bunch of this stuff in Minnesota and the Midwest. And so really excited that buildings throughout the county are going to be able to take advantage. You don't have to sort through every single monthly bill. Consumers is dumping it into this really slick online system for you to check out all of your energy usage.
Those 35, those were some of the biggest buildings in the city.
Yeah, so I had another presentation that I won't get to today, but I would encourage you to come to March 6th, because the night of the proclamation for Climate Month, we're also I'm going to give a little recognition of the 35 buildings, and I'll tell you more about them. It's about 1.5 million square feet commercial space. I think 57 gigawatt hours is what those buildings use in a year, so I'll talk.
Jamie, I just wanted to add, our homes were brought up, preservation. Early this week.
Monday.
Pick that up, so that will continue, so that's a chance. Anyone who'd like to get involved,
I just sort of recently just started their position, if I'm not mistaken, within the last year.
within the year,
Yeah. Cool. Yes, right, thank you.
Okay, more energy stuff. Just quickly, we've been doing a bit of EV work, I've probably all seen all of the announcements in the last year that many manufacturers are going to electric vehicles. They're going to be a more affordable technology, although nothing's affordable with inflation. But we at the city participated in a cohort. It was called EV Smart Communities. But it was all about how municipalities it was kind of upper Midwest, Great Lakes region, how we can start implementing best practices and supporting the infrastructure for charging throughout our communities. And then the city also participated in Power My Fleet, which is a consumer's energy supported program, but we were paired up with a technical consultant and took a look at all of the city's fleet and helped us come up with a plan on, what vehicles you might convert over first. Certainly have a whole lot of heavy equipment. I'll talk about that in a minute, heavy duty. Power My Fleet, what kind of came out of that was, not surprisingly, a very capital intensive plan. And so we have not been able to fund the beginning parts of that yet, but I think you're going to see a whole lot more to come on teams and what it could look like as a city. We certainly, I think, the first thought is if we're going to switch everything over, we need to have good charging facilities. So it's thinking about where do you place those, how can staff get in to use those, what shifts do they work, et cetera. I think one really positive thing that's happened this past year is the city was able to take what was a small biodiesel pilot, and they are able to now, that's been really scaled up. And so all public services, road trip vehicles that have a modern diesel engine that can use biodiesel have all been converted over to biodiesel. I heard the director of the department say that, in a busy weekend and we get a big snowfall, they had calculated the emissions savings, and it's 8%, almost 10% savings over burning regular diesel fuel. And so it's, you know, a rather quick way to get some savings. We had to upgrade some pumps and infrastructure, and so we were able to do that, and allow it to be a diesel product. So a quick transition while we're figuring out, and, we definitely, through our, fleet study, there was a whole bucket of vehicles that do not have EV equivalents now or probably in the near future, so, it's a good alternative for us. And then I wanted to mention back to those homes, testing out, 4 of those in this last year were, installed with solar panels, and it's something that we do want to keep looking at, if we can, extend that technology onto all of the homes that get built. But it was a smaller pilot, it was done this last year. We're really waiting to see the data and kind of how that works for residents. Those homes all are, like zero energy ready. So they all have, the infrastructure it takes to plug in, panels if they choose, if the homeowner chooses to do it. They have, like the air source heat pumps in them, and so this whole idea was to hopefully maybe offset some higher costs that some homeowners might see with an air source heat pump on really cold days. So, that's ongoing, I'm sure, again, something that we'll be hearing more about in '23, and yeah. Okay. And then, I wanted to highlight some more of the things that Public Services is doing. I feel like we've got all the street stuff here, but just some of those like healthy homes and environmental health and safety type things. The city continues to really, in what seems like an extremely great pace, replace lead service lines to homes in a bunch of different neighborhoods, but there were over 800 of those done this year. The city continues to really promote and distribute free water filters, and then 29 homes got full lead paint remediation abatement this past year, prioritizing homes with children who.
On Monday, we're gonna accept another grant that allows us to do another example.
Yeah, and then I think they added to that too, we're gonna be able to, with some federal funding, add on, radon mitigation and stuff too to people's homes. So we're, in Kalamazoo County, we're at a high risk.
What's the lead service line?
The service line
Connecting
is,
to the house?
yeah,
From the sewer to the.
you correct me if I get some.
What do you call the main line
You got it.
that then carries it?
The water main would be in the street, and then the service line would come off of the main into homes.
Up to your meters.
Yeah, up to your meter.
So I get that. So we always talk about lead service lines. I'm just curious about the mains. Are those lead too, or what is that?
I
Are
don't,
those replaced?
I think, I'm not gonna speak on that because I'm not in that program.
I won't hold you.
But I don't believe that the majority of the mains are, but I could be wrong.
Usually the mains are used during major street.
So they're not a source of lead poisoning. That holds
It's
anyone
a
accountable?
combination, I mean, if you go back to the construction of pipes, and this is what I've learned, is there's a wide variety of different pipes, textured, different materials, and you can go by the age of the materials that were available to determine the probability it would have like lead. Kind of know by the age of the installation is made of, and if they don't know, they put it in the on there and check it out.
So mains are replaced more often. Lead service lines are kind of like secondary, right? The lines are the big issues. Historically.
I think most of the state's effort and the city's efforts have been to replace the service lines,
Service
because
line, right,
I think that's where, not the expert obviously, but I think that's where most of the contamination issues were from the service lines.
That's the 800 number.
Yeah.
right
Yep,
there.
yep.
And the mains, Parkview Avenue. Construction, they want to get all that done once.
A lot of pipe, and a lot of it's old.
Just wanted to point out that the city's really continued to focus on planting street trees. Last 5 years, we've planted over 1,000 street trees, I know that these efforts are gonna be ongoing. There was, several decades when, there wasn't budget to be putting in things like street trees and, build up that canopy, that just takes a lot of time. And so it's gonna be a great gain, I think, over time that we're, really continue to increase our tree canopy along the public right-of-ways where we can as a city.
And those trees were inventoried well over 20,000.
And as part of that inventory, I thought it was very cool, there was a separate category of where there's an opportunity to put a tree. In place to, and then place and maintain.
Is there a plan to plant more than 350? Because my understanding of the opportunities, we could do thousands and still be not there each year.
Know those numbers, but I do, I know the 350 is kind of the range that I've been hearing.
I know we went out to bid for fall and spring plants.
Right.
So there was.
I'd love to know that process.
Yeah, I was, the tree committee, we placed.
All the city's bidding process is online. And so all the open bids that we're looking for.
The sourcing issue is really interesting. We had talked about it a couple months ago, I think. Gail was talking about it. Apparently really hard to find native species, people that can supply them or something. So.
Of the size too that they're gonna want to put into a street
Okay.
probably.
You can find, the conservation district has little whips, and it's like you put a little whip in somebody's curb lawn, it's gonna be gone in a day.
And then, I know we've had a ton of stormwater focus. We're gonna be starting, part of that Michigan Green Community Challenge, for that cohort. They're doing a green infrastructure cohort this next year, so last year, and we're looking at, sharing information on green stormwater opportunities, along with our gray stormwater as.
Might be a question for Director Baker. Do you happen to know if they've progressed much on that big diversion, overflow diversion project they were talking about? I think they were in an engineering study phase last time we talked to them, in maybe October or November. But yeah, we had just talked briefly that, we're interested in hearing about alternatives versus giant, massive engineering project. Maybe, I'm trying to look for not kill two birds with one stone. There's another nicer phrase, but, green space might be a better solution than a giant trench kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't have an update. I would,
Okay.
I think you're on the right track to ask Director. And indirectly involved in some of those sort of, stormwater retention, stormwater quality kind of ideas that are out there, in brownfield land, but, not well.
Okay.
Yeah, might be a good opportunity.
Sure, thank you.
These are my slides. I had the energy collaborative ones, but I'm not gonna, go into those. Again, you can join us on March 6th. I just wanted to highlight, kind of near-term and longer-term things to keep in mind, or to be aware of. So near-term, the next 3 months are gonna be some really great outreach opportunities, engagement opportunities for, the city, the Climate Month and that proclamation, and the energy collaborative stuff is coming to commission. I have, the absolute pleasure of introducing Missy to Dr. Stoltz at the, event on the 18th, so join us there if you can. She's just been really, really gracious at giving us so many of her staff. I think we've had, kind of workshop-y type one-on-one meetings with probably 6 of her staff on all different topics. It's amazing they have that many staff who can tackle that many things, but, they get to blaze the trail and tell us about the things that they would do again, or how they would do this again, or the things that they would just avoid. Also, really, really invaluable. She's been great. Earth Day is coming in April, and so we're looking at how we get involved in those events. I'm signing up soon, and hopefully our new staff person will be able to help with our team. And then no one's been helping, getting involved in Bike Month from May, so it's just another opportunity that we're going to do some great engagement and look for those, and those will hit the city's, calendar and social media, you'll see them. Midterm, if we think about, what does new staffing capacity allow us to do, I think we're really gonna be focused on communication. So, we'd love to be able to have like an e-newsletter, things that would go out to the community so that they would know more about what's, like, there's a ton of things happening. But they, you know how it goes. Like, there's this one staff person who's, diligently working away with your partner, and, we don't do a good job of promoting that kind of stuff. We'd also like to be able to offer involved in some ways. So that's something we're hoping staff capacity will give us this year, getting that engagement into all of the events that we're at. And then more of that tracking and monitoring. We really want to beef up and think about our key performance indicators and how we're communicating that in a quantitative type way. And so that's something that we're in person adding some capacity. And then I just want to put in a plug that even later this year, but especially next year, our department's really going to be diving into Imagine Kalamazoo 2035, if you can imagine it. We are already to that point, and so having a lot of this information and having all of these goals, I think that's going to be able to integrate in, and I want everyone to get involved how you can.
Can you, you mentioned March 6th for the Energy Collab info. I didn't catch a location or time.
And I got the date right. Yeah, it's commission meeting 7 p.m.
Oh, it was just at the commission meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be like a formal evening type event. We're gonna do it at the end of the year, because we have some categories for award. Well, had some categories for awards. All of our partners have decided we really want to tie it to like energy you've really saved over the year, right? So we're gonna know that more. So we'll see on the leaderboard kind of who's been able to dig into their HVAC systems and their automations and really tune those up and save energy.
Maybe a question that Nolan might be knowledgeable on, regarding like complete streets and like infrastructure stuff. Any cool announcements that you see coming down the pipeline? It's electric bike stuff has been like my new hobby horse, basically. So I'm just curious if you know anything.
Yeah, so, National Bike Month is a pretty large event that across that I've watched before, still doing. This year, 23 street projects, CIP projects, so traffic calming. Yeah, things on the horizon, especially around downtown. Michigan Ave. Yeah, watch for things happening on Michigan Ave. Downtown. Then there's also a couple grants that, a lot of this work is grant funded. Especially will probably help. Pilots throughout the city. It's all very new, due to the traffic calming, there's probably only a lot of cool things for 25. There'll be a lot of engagement and things happening around.
Are you all set? Okay. More public comment?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie and Nolan.
Thank you.
All right, I have to go, I have another commitment at 6.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
You're checking the phones.
You, I guess.
Yeah, phone comment, and then everything else, pretty much, we're planning to move to next month. That's still relevant, which should be everything except for this recommendation that we were gonna discuss,
Move
which
now, but yeah.
probably is no longer relevant in the middle of the climate emergency month.
I mean, can we just, yeah. check that out.
She's checking on phones, yeah.
Can we talk about, or just chat about the bylaws thing? Because I just have a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Question. I mean, I know we're not gonna vote on it, but I'm confused.
Yep.
Looking for clarification.
It's been a confusing process.
Is this one for me, or?
No, are there any questions?
I figured he's gonna contact us, but
Any call-in things?
I don't know if we
Yeah.
can get his info as well.
Yeah.
Check his calls. Second.
Any callers?
Doesn't look like it.
Alright.
Alrighty. I don't know if we officially adjourned, because
We didn't officially start.
we didn't officially start,
Yeah.
but I guess that's all for today.
Alright.
All right.
Okay, so I remember, like, this big discussion last
Thank you,
month
everybody.
about the bylaws, and that the city attorney said we couldn't have co-chairs.
Yes.
Curious, do you live in the city boundaries?
Yes.
Do you have any
Sorry.
interest in joining us?
better, but I'll do it.
You don't have to tell me right now. If you'd like, I could give you my email, and if you think about it, you can let me know. All right?
Any info about, like, the correct vaccine?
All right, just write it down, you got a pen there. Or we can
Odd meeting.